The entire Honey Boo Boo family has been a household name since they exploded onto the reality TV scene all the way back in 2012. Back then, Mama June was introduced to the world as this happy-go-lucky matriarch of the family, and fast forward almost a decade later, we've seen so many scandals, relationship issues, and infighting within the family, which are basically, somehow, always centered around Mama June. For a long time, the two biggest stars of the show were Honey Boo Boo and her mom. But fast forward years later, and my, how things have changed. As Mama June took years dealing with substance abuse issues, the one left picking up all of the broken pieces ended up being June's second youngest daughter, Lauren, who, for as long as I can remember, has gone by the nickname Pumpkin. It's crazy and also heartbreaking to realize how much Lauren has endured during this time. She's been raising not only Alana, but she's basically taken on the role of mother to her own mom as well. My mind was blown when I realized that as of 2022, Pumpkin is only 22 years old. No one this young should ever go through as much as she's had to deal with. And with all of the surrounding drama, she's basically lived a few lifetimes already. Pumpkin is 1,000% the rock of her family, the constant steady. And she's been dealing with issues well beyond her age for years. So, I really want to take you guys back to a time when things were simpler and less toxic, when Pumpkin was able to just be a kid and live carefree. And I need to let you guys know, if you didn't know this already, Pumpkin is a complete badass. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why. So today, we are specifically focusing on Lauren's story. And the best way for us to do that is to go back in time, all the way back to the beginning, so that we can know her story together. And there are so many layers to go through, guys. It's heartbreaking, it's inspiring, it's frustrating. It's basically all of the above. So today, let's explore the complicated and complex life of Pumpkin.
Keep all your game, highs and lows, highs and lows. It's all the same, highs and lows, highs and lows. Keep all your game, highs and lows, highs and lows. It's all the same, highs and lows, highs and lows. Your game.
Hey, Kim, Mark.
Before the fame, June was just a single mom living her life in Georgia and the surrounding area. She was a very young mother who had her oldest daughter, Chickadee, at the age of 15. Chubbs was born 2 years later when she was 17, and then Pumpkin was born 4 years later when June was the age of 21. And 5 years after that, her youngest daughter, Alana, the Honey Boo Boo herself, was born. Now, they were just an ordinary family living an ordinary life. So around the time that Lauren was around 10 years old and Alana was around 5, there was a common occurrence that would happen when June would be out and about with her kids. People would stop and tell her that Alana looked like a China doll.
People were like coming to me like at the, out and about, and no, she's like a China doll. So we like did one mall pageant.
So June decided to enter her into a pageant, and TLC, who was filming Toddlers and Tiaras at the time, happened to be there. Now, for those of you, the very few of you who are unfamiliar with or just need a refresher on that show, let me remind you. Now, TLC described the premise of the show as following the personal lives of families and contestants in children's beauty pageants. But what it ended up highlighting most of the time were overbearing stage parents acting way more immature and childish than their 4-year-old kids. And most of the time, it was the parents that were having the biggest meltdowns.
Ladies and gentlemen, your mega, ultimate, grand supreme goes to Landry!
Oh, who needs to grow up? What the hell's wrong with you, Becky? If she's truly special needs, she probably shouldn't be at a regular kid's pageant. My kid stutters, so does that mean she goes first? No. I guess that's where they make their money is on the stripper pole.
What do you expect from an escort?
No.
You don't call me a
Whore.
trash.
You ain't. You're just a fat.
Now, what I have to say about what was different about Alana and her mom is that Alana actually loved to be in front of the camera without her mom's coaxing. And you could tell that this was something that she loved to do. June did not seem like the typical pushy or overbearing stage mom trying to live vicariously through her kid.
It's just natural what she looks like now. And Glitz is, the other side of the spectrum, makeup, hair, all that.
You're lying.
How, huh?
Now, according to June, TLC spotted Alana at the pageant and they wanted to interview her in front of their camera, kind of like a test run. And once the camera started rolling, producers probably realized that they were in the midst of a star.
We did a pageant back in February of last year. They seen her and they called us back and wanted us to do another video. And so we did a video and they loved Alana the way she was. And once the cameras got here, it was on.
Alana's appearance on Toddlers and Tiaras immediately went viral. Everyone was obsessed with the spunky 6-year-old and her equally intriguing mom.
I'm Alana, I'm 6, and I'm a beauty queen.
I sat down on that bar stool.
There was no drama, there was no putting on airs. It was basically refreshing and completely different than what had been featured on the show. And people ate it up.
I'm super excited because I do pageants.
Now, during this time, June was telling the press circuit that they were about to do another appearance on Toddlers and Tiaras. But what people didn't know at the time, and she hinted to it back then, was that bigger things, way bigger things, were beyond the horizon.
Look at us for other places. I mean, I can't, go into that, but I just there is bigger things on the horizon.
And that bigger thing was that they were going to have their own reality TV show on TLC. The executives gave the green light. I mean, the network would have been crazy not to jump and capitalize on the opportunity of having this spunky 6-year-old in front of the camera. And not too long after that, the rest of the world was introduced to what she called her crazy family.
This is my crazy family. I have 3 sisters. Pocket is the craziest, Anna's the pregnantest, and Jessica's my favorite, like my BFF. The boss's family is Mama. No.
My name is Mike. My nickname is Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear, my baby daddy. We got too much estrogen in the house. Need some testosterone.
And the show was called Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, which paid homage to the most infamous catchphrase Alana ever uttered.
The other ones must be crazy if they think they're going to be me, Honey Boo Boo Child.
And this was where the world was introduced to the entire family. Now, the show featured all of their antics and their everyday adventures, and we were able to get to know Alana's other sisters better. And this is where the world was first introduced to 12-year-old Pumpkin, Alana's crazy sister who was once struck by lightning.
I love my sister, but she's been crazy ever since she got whopped by lightning.
Pumpkin got struck by lightning while she was playing a game system. Zap. she was electrocuted. Pumpkin's never been the same. She just got her brain fried.
Oh, I feel dizzy.
Now, Pumpkin was always highlighted on the show as the crazy one and not being the sharpest tool in the shed.
Normal pumpkin, crazy pumpkin, happy pumpkin, stupid pumpkin.
I knocked Anna down because of my momentous. It's science.
And she was always the one breaking the rules and doing her own thing and being rebellious.
Well, all of a sudden, I get hungry. And when I get hungry, big girls got to eat. I'm about to break out of this place.
Pumpkin may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but she sure can plan a snack escape. Hold up, you missed some stuff.
Yeah, have a nice night.
Thank you.
And Pumpkin was always hilarious. She was just super quirky as a kid. And it's kind of funny to think about that now because it seems like freak accidents always happened to Pumpkin. I mean, how many people do you know have been struck by lightning? And how many people get injured with a key toss?
Pumpkin can talk.
Yeah, cool. What do you want, Minnie?
I feel sad that you can't go trick-or-treating.
Pumpkin had a freak accident with a set of keys.
Pumpkin come in and wanted the keys to the truck. It was locked, so I do like I always do. I threw them to her. And she missed them and it hit her in the face.
The daughter has her right now on strict bed rest. They don't want her walking around too much.
I'm telling you, freak accidents would always happen around Pumpkin. At this point, the show had been nationally syndicated across several continents. So many loved and adored this family. And we really loved that this show showcased their lovable family dynamics. And back then, everything seemed so carefree. Mama June seemingly seemed to be a very devoted and down-to-earth mom. The family seemed close and happy and carefree. It appeared as though the kids were able to just be kids and live a good life. And the audience was really able to watch the family and the children grow up for a total of 4 seasons on the show. But what happened around the time of filming of season 5, which, by the way, has never seen the light of day, completely turned the Honey Boo Boo franchise upside down. And not only that, but during this time also started the downward spiral of Mama June, which would ultimately affect her daughters with permanent, long-term consequences and changed the direction of their lives forever. Honey Boo Boo was one of the top-watched reality TV shows. Both the viewership and the ratings were strong. And there was even a lot of buzz about an upcoming commitment ceremony for June and Sugar Bear. And isn't it crazy that somehow in the reality TV world, when a couple makes this huge effort to celebrate or display how in love they are, why is it that weeks or months later, things always seem to just fall apart? Because that's exactly what happened with Sugar Bear and June. Exactly 4 months after their commitment ceremony, a shocking report came out that June kicked Sugar Bear to the curb after finding out that he had a profile on a dating website called Plenty of Fish. And it appears that this wasn't the first time that he was caught cheating. June basically couldn't trust him anymore because of his cheating ways, and according to her, he had a big problem telling the truth.
One aspect of our relationship that I feel like we need to work on is communication and honesty.
And I need to grow up and stop cheating, stop running around, and stop being a baby.
The one thing that I would like Sugar to improve on is him being truthful and honest, and no matter what the consequence is.
And not long after this, June was spotted with another man. But before we go any further into this incident, I have to say, I think that it's evident that with June, she is the type of person that has to be with a man. And I know you know who these people are. They don't feel complete or whole without having a significant other. And that can happen with both men and women. And that is 1000% June. And my advice, Probably the best thing that you can do after a breakup or a divorce is to just spend time with yourself. Date yourself. Get to know yourself. Have fun by yourself. And then later when you heal, you'll be fun around other people, but it'll be a supplement. You will not need others to give you your self-worth. And I'm telling you, it's such an important lesson to learn and to pass on. And unfortunately for June, even still to this day, it's a lesson that she has not yet learned. And this is all my opinion, my speculation. June is the type of woman who is basically a chameleon and morphs her life and activities into those of her lover. Now, more on that later, so just take note. So let's go back to the man spotted in Mama June's bed. This man ended up being Mark McDaniel, who was reported to be the father of Chubbs, and he was just released from prison after serving a 10-year sentence for an assault on a minor under the age of 10. And this is just shocking. It shocked the world, and people were wondering why she would allow him into her sphere when she has 4 young daughters. And to add insult to injury, her daughter Chickadee had accused this same man of doing the same thing to her when she was young.
Alana's a year older than me when it happened. And, everybody's saying that Mark was distant from her, Mark was away from her, but that don't mean anything. Alana is 9 years old. I was 8 when it happened. Alana's only 1 year apart. They stayed at a resident inn in North Carolina. They went to some kind of casino, and they went to a place called Ghost Town. I know that much. And I think that's where the photo was taken at.
And who was with them at the time?
It was Alan, Lee, Mark, and Alana, and Mama.
Alana, my goodness, at a motel.
And the day of the scandal, there were reports that said that the TLC network was very concerned about the news and they would be reassessing the future of the show. But it didn't take long for the network to reach a final decision. The next day, TLC officially canceled Here Comes Honey Boo Boo.
As of Friday morning, ET has confirmed the show has been canceled. The news comes shortly after Mama June and her longtime partner Sugar Bear had called it quits.
In a statement, they said, "Supporting the health and welfare of these remarkable children is our only priority. TLC is faithfully committed to the children's ongoing comfort and well-being." It would be 2 years before June and her family would be on TV again. And this time, it was WeTV that decided to give June another chance with the show Mama June From Not to Hot, which was focused on her getting her revenge body after splitting from Sugar Bear.
In the past year, we have seen the impossible become possible. The Chicago Cubs won their first World Series in over a century. A reality star became president of the United States. But can Mama June actually be size 4? TV presents.
You really do need to get back into the swing of things. Alana's got a boyfriend.
I'm changing my body and my love life.
Redneck and single.
I'm going on a date.
You have your license revoked.
I mean, dating ain't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, where are you going? Are you leaving her?
You have to start putting yourself first.
You're spiraling out of control, and we're all scared for you.
I know within time carrying weight around, I could die.
Mama June, From Not to Hot.
By the end of the first season, things were actually going fairly well. So out of June's girls, the show mainly featured Pumpkin and Alana. And they still looked at June as a role model. They were inspired by her weight loss.
Y'all seen me struggle all my life, saying, oh my God, I wish that my bat wings would go away. And I still look at this and it's like, ugh. Y'all want to be sitting here 30 going through all this?
You've seen your mom change. Would you like to go in that direction as well?
I want to try and lose over 50 pounds.
And at that point, Sugar Bear got remarried. And the biggest issue in the family at the time were claims that Sugar Bear was an absentee father.
He would text maybe
once every 3 weeks, maybe.
The relationship between him, June, and the girls were pretty much non-existent.
Allow you to see Alana as often as you'd like.
I'm done. Yo, mouth, you stupid bitch.
No.
Yes, you stupid piece.
I got you too.
But at this point, fortunately, the girls still had their rock, Mama June, who was able to maintain a normal, steady, and loving home for the girls. And if only this is where the trouble for her family had ended.
No, yes, you stupid piece. I got you too. I don't know what the his problem is with ripping his freaking shirt open. But who is he, the Hulk?
Just the squabbling with one parent. Back then, it seemed like such a tumultuous time, but in hindsight, this was just a little hiccup in the road. It would have been a drop in the bucket compared to what the family was about to endure in just a few short months later. Because soon, the girls would be completely fending for themselves on their own, and most of the responsibility would fall on Pumpkin's 17-year-old shoulders. Love was officially in the air for the women in the family, and there were big changes ahead for Pumpkin and Mama June. For June, she started to secretly date a man named Gino, who the girls found out about by spying and following her into a bingo hall.
Going down a little bit, dang.
Who is that waiting on her? Whoa! Why is he here with her? She's kissing him!
Oh, wait.
And it was all fun and games during this time, but no one knew at the time how codependent this relationship would ultimately be. Not only that, but this was the beginning of the end before Mama June's complete downward spiral into substance abuse, which I believe completely was influenced by Gino's addiction and addict lifestyle. And I personally believe that once again, like a chameleon, June wanted to merge her life, her hobbies, and interests into his. It was a completely unhealthy and all-consuming integration into the life of her significant other. And Pumpkin's gut reaction here? Her instincts were completely right about Gino.
Bitch, you better get your hands off my mama.
Now, around the same time of June's blooming and blossoming relationship with Gino, Pumpkin's relationship with Josh Efford was starting to heat up.
I've been dating my boyfriend Josh on and off for a while. He's actually moving 10 minutes down the road. And you better bet your sweet ass I ain't gonna be hiding my man like somebody else has been doing.
What, man? Oh, love you so much.
Pumpkin started dating Josh after they met each other in April 2015, when Pumpkin was just 15 years old. And by the way, Josh is 4 years her senior. So by the time Josh was introduced on the show, Hot or Not, they had actually met 2 years before Here Comes Honey Boo Boo was canceled. But we really didn't see him in the spotlight until he was featured on the series Mama June from Not to Hot. So by the time he was featured on the show as Pumpkin's boyfriend, she was 17 years old when she found out that she was pregnant. So Pumpkin first told Josh,
I'm pregnant.
Oh no. Did y'all know about this?
and then Pumpkin told June, who was not happy, that her young daughter had basically followed in her footsteps.
I'm pregnant. Are you freaking joking me right now?
Yeah, no. Oh God, Mama, don't look happy.
You being 17, I mean, this ain't like the ideal situation. I mean, you're supposed to be graduating high school and
I mean, I'm gonna finish school. I'm gonna do what I have to do to make like the life better for like, you know, me, Josh, and the baby.
And June was still in full mama bear mode at the time, and had a stern talking to with Josh.
Josh, he has got a stern talking coming to his ass because he's fixing to shape up or ship out.
Oh, wow.
What happened to you and Pumpkin?
What the hell, Pumpkin? You could have warned me. She was sitting there waiting like a cobra ready to strike.
For the next 18 years, it's me and you.
And it was not long after this incident that discussions about marriage would pop up. Mama June was adamant that Pumpkin did not need to get married and that she would be fine as a single mother. But it seemed like marriage was something that both Pumpkin and Josh wanted to do. Now, while both of them were basically babies, they surprisingly handled the seriousness of the situation with a lot of maturity by going to counseling and figuring out how to make this work. And by December of 2016, Pumpkin and Josh were engaged. And they waited until August of 2017 to make the pregnancy announcement public to the world on social media. And Pumpkin posted a photo of an ultrasound with the caption, "So now that the news is out, me and Josh are expecting a little one. So happy to start this new adventure with him. Love you, baby." So that means that by the age of 17, Pumpkin was pregnant with child, which is a big responsibility for someone so young. She was super excited, and she even had an inkling that it would be a girl.
Could you imagine another little me running around? You guys are gonna be.
Are you excited to be a new mom?
I'm really excited to be a new mom, but there is some challenges that I am gonna have to face.
And while the news was a happy time for Pumpkin, her mother had also caught the love bug. But unlike Pumpkin, good news would not follow June's decision. Now, June stated, "Gino's the first guy that I've dated really serious since I've lost the weight. And I'm trying to keep this one to myself to see how it's going to work out. I hope this one works out, but honestly, I've had some terrible luck with guys, and I've got really burnt. So it's really hard for me to fully trust him right now." Well, June went from casually dating Gino to basically wanting to marry him. And in the beginning, all seemed well. Gino had gained the trust of Alana and Pumpkin, who really thought of him as a stepdad.
I want to thank Gino for being there, not only as my mama's boyfriend, but as my stepdad. You really helped us out a lot.
Oh my God, I knew Alana felt that way, but this is the first time hearing Pumpkin call Gino stepdaddy. He really is a part of our family.
But also, he was close enough to Josh, so much so that Josh asked Gino to be his best man at their Vegas wedding.
Asked me to be the best man. I'm glad I can actually do it, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate it, bro.
And things went pretty fast after the wedding, because soon after, Pumpkin gave birth to their daughter, Ella Grace, and she moved out of June's house into her own to start a family with Josh. And things seemingly appeared to be going amazing for all of the family. Alana seemed to be loved and taken care of, and Pumpkin had grown up and moved out of the house and started her own family. And June and Gino seemed to be moving in the direction of also being a family, and possibly Gino being the constant steady, a father figure in Alana's life. And their relationship appeared fine. But that was only because they were able to keep things under wraps really well. All until things came crashing down when June shocked not only her family, but the world when she was arrested in March 2019 on drug possession charges in Alabama. Now, Gino and June were both arrested at a gas station after someone called the police to report a domestic incident between the two. And the couple allegedly had substances in a crack pipe on them. And a few months after this, Alana opted to live with Pumpkin's new family while June was battling with addiction and court dates. Now, let's pause for a second because it's important to note that Pumpkin and Josh were married in May of 2018. And that's less than 10 months later that their newlywed period, their newlywed life, as they knew it, was flipped upside down. Because in that instant, the roles completely reversed for Pumpkin. She basically became the matriarch of the family, in addition to being Alana's caretaker. To those closest to her, it appeared June's drug addiction came out of nowhere, because Pumpkin was shocked when she found out about it. And according to an interview Pumpkin gave with Hollywood Life, Pumpkin claimed she hadn't noticed any signs in the weeks leading up to June's arrest. She said, "I don't think that it just came out of nowhere, especially with how quickly she started using, how much she was using. I honestly didn't even notice, which was the sad thing. I should have seen the warning signs, how she and Gino didn't come out of the house or any of that stuff. So there were definitely warning signs there." Pumpkin admitted that she was distracted with other things during this time that June started to spiral, including her wedding and welcoming Ella into the world. "I had moved out due to just some stuff in general, and me getting married and having a kid. So we got out and got our own place. So what they were doing there, I had no clue of. I think she hid it from everybody, or at least tried to." And at the height of June's addiction, she claimed that she spent close to $1 million in 1 year on their habit.
The last year of our addiction, probably a good of $900,000. So much money was sent to our dope man when I started looking at my cash out to one dealer, because we had two. One dealer was close to almost $80,000.
And after their arrest in 2019, both Gino and June were awaiting a possible sentencing, with each of them possibly serving years in jail. And it was especially difficult for Pumpkin and Alana during this time because they basically had to fend for themselves. And while Gino and June tried to remain sober, at least at one point, according to June, Gino started heavily drinking, and she wanted to split from Gino for good. But that didn't happen, at least anytime soon.
I'm about tired of Gino. He's been drinking like all day today, 30, 40 beers. Now they're drinking wine. And I thought that maybe he could change, and maybe things would be better if we got sober, but it's not.
Well, because there's a big difference. You're sober, he's not.
There was so much back and forth, and June falling back on her word that Pumpkin could almost never trust June's word.
Mama keeps trying to contact me ever since she got out of rehab. And I've seen on social media that she's telling everybody that she's sober, but then again, I don't believe her. You're still with Gino. And until she gets that out of the way, then she's not really allowed around me and my family.
And in Pumpkin's eyes, Alana was treated like a dog, and she refused to let it happen again.
Alana's been tossed around, treated like crap, basically just been thrown to the side like some stray dog by Mama. And I would do whatever I had to do. Whatever it may be to keep Alana with me.
There was a point when June thought Gino was going to spend time in jail. So June pressured Pumpkin into letting her live in their home, which Pumpkin was not having.
I just need to come back to Georgia and be like your roommate.
Mama, there's no way in hell you're moving in with me. You're asking me, can you be a roommate here? And there's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us.
7.
No, Mama. You go all the way to Florida and dump your load of on me yet again.
So eventually, Gino was sentenced to 16 months in jail, and June avoided any jail time by serving community service instead. And the good news is that by September of 2021, June broke up with Gino because she got sober and wanted to avoid old habits. Now, I wish June had spent this time really trying to rebuild her relationships with her daughters, which she tried to some extent, but the majority of the time it really did seem like she was chasing all different kinds of men around.
A Duke boy is basically any man that Mama gets. She can't drive, so they drive her around. They basically run her around and do errands.
They're just doing all they want to do, so they know they get that money in their return.
And it was absolutely heartbreaking to see Pumpkin break down and tell June how her decisions affected her life so drastically.
I try to smile through it and act like it doesn't affect me because I don't need Alana being upset, and I don't need Ella coming up to me being like, Mommy, why are you upset? It really was just me now taking care of Alana, Jessica, Ella. I've matured, but it's also been overwhelming dealing with it too because I had to grow up a lot more than I wanted to.
This isn't the life you had planned for yourself at this age.
In December of 2021, Pumpkin filed for custody, and according to court documents, on April 11th, 2022, a judge awarded Pumpkin sole custody of Alana, and June was ordered to pay $800 a month in child support. But that deal wasn't made without some serious pushback.
Would you rather sign your rights over for Alana?
That's what I thought we were doing.
I guess
To be honest.
I guess what she was asking, you would prefer that they adopt her rather than.
That's what I thought we were doing.
Make it make sense, because you literally blow money 24/7 on this new man, some 24-year-old guy, Gino, Sugar Bear, all this money you blown on these men, and you refuse to give me money for your child that I've been taking care of for 4 years now.
As of June 2022, Pumpkin is now the proud mother of 4 children, including 2 newborn twins. And Alana is inching near the age of 18 and will soon be of legal age, so the sky is the limit for this entire family, and we wish them the best. Now, believe it or not, there is actually a whole lot more to Mama June's story that you need to hear. So go ahead, continue your binge-watching journey with the tragic, real-life story of Mama June.